In the middle of Whiterun, just a few steps to the west of the Gildergreen tree, is the House Gray-Mane. Inside, we meet a man named Avulstein, who doesn't seem to be very fond of company.
Who are you? What are you doing here? Are you working with the Battleborns? Speak now before I put you in the ground.
Whoa, calm down. I'm not working for anyone.
No? So you don't know anything about my brother? Then what are you doing here?
Look, I didn't mean to alarm you. Why are you so tense?
Because they've got Thorald locked away somewhere, and if they find me here, I'll disappear too. I am not gonna let that happen.
Sounds to me like you could use some help.
I can't do this all on my own. Are you offering to help me?
Well, maybe. To be perfectly honest, Avulstein, I'm not quite sure what's going on.
My brother Thorald, he was fighting for the Stormcloaks and went missing. Everyone assumes he's dead. But he's not, I just know it. The Imperials captured him, and they're holding him someplace. The Battleborns know where. I'd go and search their house for proof, but they want me to. I'd be captured, and then we'll never know what happened to him. So I need someone to find that proof for me.
This starts the quest, Missing in Action. Avulstein, why do you think the Battleborns are involved with this?
The Battleborns, the Emperor's biggest bootlickers here in Whiterun. Their connections to the Empire and the Legion are well known. When Thorald didn't return home, there was no question in my mind. They knew Thorald supported the Stormcloaks, knew he was gonna aid them in battle, made sure he didn't come back. Locked him up someplace to get back at my family. I'm sure of it.
What sort of proof do you need?
Anything that confirms that Thorald isn't dead, but is being held captive. I know those Battleborns have it. They'd be hiding it, of course. Wouldn't want it to get out that they've been lying this whole time. But you might be able to butter them up enough to lower their guard. Best if you didn't mention to anyone that you saw me here.
With that, we can turn around and exit the House Gray-Mane. Avulstein asked us to sneak into the Battleborn's clan house and look for evidence that his brother Thorald is still alive. The Gray-Manes and the Battleborns are bitter enemies, with the former fighting for the Stormcloaks and the latter supporting the Empire. This is definitely a tense situation. The Battleborn's clan house is located in the Wind District of Whiterun. After picking the novice-locked door in front of the house, we immediately get into trouble upon entering.
You have committed crimes against Skyrim and her people. What say you in your defense?
I'm the Jarl's Thane. I demand you let me go at once.
Oh, forgive me, Thane. I didn't realize it was you. We'll look the other way this time. But even the Jarl's influence has its limits. Be more careful.
Phew! If I wasn't the Jarl's Thane, that could have gotten ugly. Thankfully, seniority has its perks, and now we're free to walk around the clan house without attracting any suspicion from the guards. There's really nothing of interest inside the house, though I did find a copy of the book of Fjori and Holgeir on top of a small table on the second floor. I told the full story of Holgeir and Fjori in my video on the quest A Love Beyond Death, which you can watch by following the link in the description. If we pass through a set of double doors on the first floor, we find ourselves in a bedroom. But what's this towards the back of the room? Another door, only this one is locked. Looking behind us to make sure no one is watching, we can pick the lock and step into what appears to be a small office. There's a couple of shelves with some books, bowls, and drinkware, and on top of a nearby desk, we find the Imperial Missive. It has come to my attention that inquiries have been made as to the whereabouts of one Thorald Gray-Mane. It is my duty to inform you that Thalmor agents have taken possession of the prisoner and have escorted him to Northwatch Keep. I don't think I need to elaborate. It is in everyone's best interest if the matter is dropped entirely. I trust there will be no further inquiries as to this matter. General Tullius. So Avulstein was right. His brother is still alive. Let's return to his house and tell him the good news.
Do you have news? Did you find something?
Thorald is alive, and I've got proof.
I knew it. Let me see, please. The Thalmor. By the 9, it's worse than I thought. So, Northwatch Keep. Then we know where to hit him.
You're going to launch an attack on Northwatch Keep?
I'll do anything if it means saving my brother. You'll join us, won't you? Thorald can't be left to those monsters.
We can now choose how we want to proceed with the quest. We can either join Avulstein on his assault on Northwatch Keep, or we can tell him that we will go after his brother alone. However, I decided to go with a third, more diplomatic approach. No one has to die here, Avulstein. Let me see if I can bring your brother back without bloodshed.
What? You, alone, reasoning with the Thalmor? That's madness, friend. You're serious, aren't you? Very well. I'll give you a chance. But if you can't do it, I will.
With that, we set out to see if we can free Thorald without violence. This is easier said than done, though. The Thalmor consists of elven supremacists who aren't exactly strangers to the use of lethal force and even torture. They're also skilled spellcasters, so we'd better tread lightly. Northwatch Keep is located in the northwest corner of the map, and needless to say, it's pretty isolated. To get there on foot, we'd have to follow the path towards Volskag, and then make our way down the side of a cliff once we reached a dead end. We'd then have to swim across a small body of water and find it hidden amongst the rolling snowbanks. Thankfully for us, we can just fast travel there instead. Upon our arrival, we can talk to a Northwatch guard patrolling the entrance of the fortress.
Halt!
I'm here to ask for the release of Thorald Gray-Mane.
Are you joking? Even if we had a prisoner by that name, the only way he'd be released is by order of the Imperial Legion. Now I suggest you turn around and go back the way you came.
All right. Well, can you at least tell me a little bit about this place?
That's privileged information. Now, move along.
This might be harder than we thought. On the other side of the fortress is a second guard, but he doesn't let us in either.
Now I suggest you turn around and go back the way you came.
As we turn back and look for a way to possibly sneak into the fortress, we notice a dragon off in the distance. Normally, I would just ignore this fire-breathing lizard and focus on the quest, but maybe, just maybe, we could use the beast to our advantage. This could be the perfect distraction.
Scare them off.
After killing the dragon and absorbing its soul, we can retreat to a safe distance and watch as several guards rush out of the fortress to examine the skeleton. Our plan worked flawlessly. Well, almost flawlessly anyway. As we make a mad dash towards the front door, we can hear a couple of guards become alerted and draw their swords.
What was that?
What was that?
Phew! That was too close. I think we're safe now, though. Or maybe not.
Over here!
Got it? At your best. Enough.
Mercy!
Looks like our plan to free Thorald without spilling any blood didn't exactly work out the way we had hoped. There's no turning back now, though. If they want to fight, we can give them one. After looting some bodies and getting a sense of our surroundings, we can continue into the dungeon down a set of stairs to the east, where we come face to face with our next challenger. Oh, come on, 3-on-1? How is this even fair?
Damn you!
Two of the guards try to escape further into the fortress. We can follow them through a winding hallway, but just when we successfully cut one down, 4 more appear to take her place. Maybe this whole one-man army thing wasn't the best idea after all. After heading west through a short hallway, we find ourselves in a large chamber with even more guards. I can't help but imagine how much easier this would have been had I agreed to go with Avulstein and have him fight by my side. But no, I just had to be the noble peacemaker and tackle this one alone. What a horrible, horrible decision. After following a winding hallway and taking out one more guard, we can enter a room to the south and... oh my. This is barbaric. Behind a wooden table smeared with blood, we find the skeletal remains of an unfortunate prisoner, his own skull resting on the bench to his right. There's a noose hanging from the ceiling, and towards the northern end of the room, we find Thorald, his hands chained tightly to the stone wall behind him.
You there. What are you doing?
Shh, keep it down. I'm here to rescue you.
I never thought I'd see another friendly face again. We need to get to safety as soon as possible. Let's move.
After freeing Thorald, we can loot a couple of potions on a nearby shelf and then search a chest sitting along the eastern wall. Inside, we find an ebony bow, a couple of soul gems, some gold, a filter of resist fire, which causes you to resist 40% of fire damage for 60 seconds, and robes of eminent conjuration, which causes conjuration spells to cost 20% less than normal and magicka to regenerate 50% faster. Heading north into the room where we previously killed that final guard, we notice something that we hadn't before. Prison cells, some of which still have prisoners living inside of them. I tried to unlock one of these cells in my playthrough, but I quickly found myself running low on lockpicks, forcing me to leave the prisoners behind. Let's just pretend that never happened, shall we? Heading back the way we came towards the exit, we notice that we missed an unlocked chest in the chamber where we defeated all of those guards. Inside, we find some gold and a potion of extreme healing. Thorald follows us all the way to the exit and back outside, where we have to deal with those guards that we managed to sneak past earlier.
Never should have come. That's the best you can do.
Gods, no! No more! I yield! I yield!
Your pest.
After all of the guards are dead, we can speak to Thorald.
I cannot thank you enough for rescuing me from this place. I suspect I'd never again see the light of day otherwise. But why would you risk your life for me, a stranger?
Your family was concerned for you.
Of course, I should have known. This was all Avulstein's idea, wasn't it? Where is he?
I told him to wait for your return back in Whiterun.
A wise decision, but I fear he may not be safe there anymore. They'll go looking for me, and Whiterun will be the first place they search. I cannot stay. Not here. Not in Whiterun. It likely won't be safe for Avulstein either. Our best hope now is to fall in with the ranks of the Stormcloaks. But would you do me a favor? Tell my mother to suffer the winter's cold wind, for it bears aloft next summer's seeds. She'll know what it means. I thank you again, friend. You've given me my life back.
With that, we can fast travel back to Whiterun to deliver Thorald's cryptic message to his mother, Freya, who we find walking around just outside of the house Gray-Mane.
Please tell me you have news of my son.
Freya, I have good news. Your son is safe.
Is he? You've saved him? Oh, I must see him at once.
I'm afraid he's not here. He didn't want to come back to Whiterun and put your life or Avulstein's life in jeopardy.
What? After all this, I can't even see him? How do I know you're telling me the truth and not just what I want to hear?
He said something about how you should suffer the winter's cold wind?
For it bears aloft Next summer's seeds. That's my boy. So it's true then. For now it's enough to know that he's alive. I can find peace in that. Thank you, dear friend. You've given me back my son. I'd had Eorlund forge this for Thorald. It was to be a present for his return. I suppose he can't have it now. Why don't you take it? We can always make another for the day when this war ends and Thorald can come home.
For completing this quest, we are rewarded with a random enchanted weapon. In my playthrough, I was given the Steel Mace of Ice, which deals 31 damage and delivers 15 points of frost damage to a target's health and stamina. After telling Freya that her son is alive and well, I tried to find Avulstein to tell him the good news too, but for some reason I couldn't find him. I searched through the entire house at different times of the day, and even checked every corner of Whiterun, and still, Avulstein was nowhere to be found. It's then that we remember something that Avulstein said to us before we set out on our journey.
Because they've got Thorald locked away somewhere, and if they find me here, I'll disappear too.
Could it be that Avulstein is missing from Whiterun because he's been captured? I suppose that's the most likely explanation, but who knows? Maybe Avulstein just went on vacation. Maybe he's just out running a few errands. Happy thoughts, everybody. Happy thoughts. If I could offer one piece of advice to anyone interested in playing this quest, it would be to go with Avulstein and attack Northwatch Keep right from the start. As you saw with my playthrough, even when I tried to sneak into the fortress and free Thorald without killing anyone, it ended in violence anyway, and I was forced to take on waves of challenging enemies on my own. The mission would likely have been much easier with Avulstein as a companion. But then again, maybe I'm missing something. In your playthrough, were you able to somehow reach Thorald and make it back out alive without having to fight? Or did you find yourself eventually having to draw your sword like I did? If you decided to go with Avulstein, what was it like? Was he helpful when you were being rushed by waves of guards? Or did you find yourself still doing most of the work? Again, let me know in the comments below. I post new videos on Skyrim every single Friday, folks, so be sure to subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on all of my latest content. If you're an entertainment junkie like I am, then you might like my brand new podcast, Pass the Veal, where we discuss everything from upcoming video games to movies and television shows. I post video versions of the podcast right here on my YouTube channel every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so be sure to check that out as well. But that's all for now, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.